Right. Good morning, Graham.
Morning,
Mr.
Candice.
Graham Kershaw. Lovely to have you on our Meridian Table Talk podcast. Thank you.
Nice to know. I would have worn some long pants and got a bit smarter about
Don't
so
you worry.
formal.
No, listen, it's a very relaxed environment, and thank
Good.
you. We're just going to have a little chat, and we're so curious around, you're obviously a very well-known person in Hilton. I mean, your stories are very interesting. We were chatting before the show. And your history goes far and wide. And you were one of the founders of Build It in Hilton. You bought and sold the quarry. You were involved in the quarry centre for a while. Is that correct?
No, the quarry centre. We owned the Quick Spa Centre.
Sorry.
Hilton Village Centre.
Sorry, Hilton
Yes.
Village Centre.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
okay. And yeah, I think you're quite a well-known sort of, I would guess, investor, property buyer, seller in Hilton over many years. And your family have grown up here. Is that correct?
Yes, so we moved here in 1994.
Mhm.
We moved from Kuzi. We had 2 years in Kuzi. I had a business that I'd shut down and needed to go and consolidate. We moved here after 2 years in the bush, mainly to get some proper schooling for our kids. Really.
Okay.
Had the opportunity to buy a very rundown little spa shop that was battling because the quarry had opened. And yeah, I took a chance, came down here, and pretty much the rest is history. Just worked hard and became part of the community, got involved, and just grew with this awesome little village.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Tell me, what are your views of the changes of this little village over the last 20 years?
So, Denise and I thought a bit about this. People come to me and say, they don't want to see Hilton turn into a hillcrest. And my first answer to that is, Hilton can never be a hillcrest. Hillcrest is a thoroughfare to Waterfall, Beaufort Hill, to these enormous residential areas. Hilton can never be that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's going to grow. And with people wanting to move out of town and out of the Maritzburg suburbs, I see the growth has been good, and I'm not concerned that we would end up being a hillcrest.
Okay.
But you can't stop progress, and with people wanting to move out, there's more and more opportunity for businesses to grow and invest in Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
A bigger rate space helps the municipality, and of course that's the prime factor at the moment. I think
Yes.
being in a DA-run municipality is definitely an advantage, huge advantage. And shame they're really taking strain with it, trying to be pushed out all over the place. But yeah, I'm for the development as long as it's done within the rules and tastefully. Let's put it that way. So I'm not scared of it. I think it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm not concerned that we'll become a thriving metropolis.
Yes.
And spoil Hilton. I think Hilton can retain its village feel in spite of what's happening.
The growth and the development.
Yeah. So it is just the place everybody wants to live.
It really is. I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, and I'm going to ask you a little bit later about what you think is driving that, that demand, and do schools play a factor, etc. But I think the viewers who are watching will hopefully have sort of a landscape of buying and selling property in Hilton. What in your experience, and you've bought a lot and sold a lot, what are the
haven't sold too many.
Okay, you've bought a lot. Or maybe we can help you sell some of it later. What are the 3 lessons that you've learned? I mean, you were sharing some things earlier with buying property in Hilton, and what would you what advice would you give to people from your experience?
So, I don't know quite what you're looking for, but I always look for opportunities, and I started off looking to invest in small residential properties, and to be honest, I've invested some in Howick, a little bit in Maritzburg, and I have a few residential properties. I've created a little company with my kids so they could learn a little bit about gearing and investing in property.
Yes.
And residential property as an investment is very easy to get in because of the kind of funding that you can get from banks.
Okay.
Commercial is the next step, and industrial, and that's much more rewarding, but you need quite a bit of capital to get into that. So you can't get the funding and you can't get the gearing that you'd like. So I've looked at some opportunities for residential property to teach the kids a bit about investing, and that's going quite nicely.
Okay.
And then I've looked for opportunities where there's something as an add-on. So we bought a house. If I should tell this story, but when we moved here, we weren't able to buy the house that we would have wanted.
Okay.
We still owned a property in Westfield North and hadn't sold that, and the bank said, no, we can't give you that kind of money. So we bought a house which my wife referred to as a horrible house. Not so much shorter word than that. Anyway, when we eventually bought it, a fax came through to the spa shop I was running in Kuzi, and the agent Gail O'Shea sent us a fax through and said, congratulations, you're now the proud owners of the house.
Horrible house.
And and we've lived there ever since. We've changed a lot.
Okay.
And we kind of think it's quite a nice house now.
Okay.
Ready for the next move, I guess. But so for a place to live, we bought a horrible house and did the work on it. Of course, I didn't build it. I love people who come here and want to do some renovations and fixing up. And there are those opportunities in Hilton because it's an old established suburb, and people like yourselves come across these sort of houses that can be done up. I take your house, you've done a beautiful job of what you've done here, and there is opportunity there. You obviously have to buy it at the right price, so that's a bit of negotiation, and you also have to know if you're going to flip it or keep it, what you can get out of it.
Yep.
If you're going to live in it for a while, that helps you get some extra money back. So I think there's great opportunity in Hilton. There's a lot of opportunity lately to subdivide. The rules have changed in terms of subdivision, and there's been some precedent set where the size of your land used to be 2,000 squares and came down to 1,500. Currently is 1,500. But there's been a few smaller subdivisions done, which have worked very well for some people.
Have they not increased it now, Graham? What is that? Can you maybe share with us?
No, I'm not speaking from an authority.
Okay, we'll
I know
look into
examples of properties that have been subdivided from 2,000 square meters down to 1,000 square meters, and the current minimum size in Hilton, if I'm not mistaken, is 1,500. But there's an argument to be made to make it smaller.
Okay.
And then for sectional title developments, it was changed from 12 units per hectare to 15, which meant for every 660 square meters of a piece of land, you can put up a unit.
Okay.
So there's opportunity for developers and people in Hilton to buy a property with a subdivision potential, or with flatlit potential. So I'm a great believer in if you want to get on the property ladder and make some sort of investments in property, that's the best way to find something that you can add something to. So buying a plain residential house, there's not great returns, but being able to do something, add accommodation, divide it up, subdivide. Those are opportunities that I think people should look.
Great.
And certainly what we've tried to do.
Absolutely. Certainly, I would imagine to try and make that investment and try and gain additional revenue off that investment to help pay off your bond or your debt or whatever
it's called OPM. Other people's money.
OPM, I love that.
Have you not heard that? Other people's money. So if someone else pays off your bond, isn't that great?
Perfect. Absolutely.
So if young and you want to buy a property in Hilton, find
Yes.
one with a granny flat that you can let out and let them subsidise your bond. And really, someone else paying off your bond. I mean, that's awesome.
Great advice. Great advice.
So that's what we-
Awesome. Okay, so switching the gears a little bit from property to, I think something you've had a lot of experience in Hilton is customer service. And I think in your years with Spa, and you were telling us earlier about working with Golden Pond and Build It, I think you're particularly well known in Hilton for customer service. Do you want to give us a little bit of insight into your secrets there?
Okay, so it's all the old folks who remember that.
Okay.
Obviously, we sort of moved out of the Spa, 13 years ago. Obviously, we're still involved in the Build It. My son runs it now, so I'm not there every day. But we built our business on a customer service, getting to know your customers, trying to find out their names, the interaction between your staff and the people. You know, our cashiers were taught to engage and find out about the kids and how are you doing and how's school been today, making sure you call the customer by name, all of those things, you know, were little, not tricks, but things that made us, I think, a little bit different. And it certainly helped to grow our business. That extra bit of customer service, if we didn't have something. Someone reminded me the other day, they were in the shop and they wanted something. It was Pam Alty from the garden centre.
Yes.
And her grandson wanted something. And I said, hang on a minute. And apparently I jumped, I don't even remember this. Apparently I jumped in my car, went down to the quarry, bought the thing he wanted. I think it was an orange ice cream. Rushed back to the Spa and I said, well, here we go, here's your ice cream. And people sort of remember things like that.
Yes.
And it kind
just
of
going the extra mile. Lovely.
And fortunately, some people talk about it. A lot of people talk about all the negative stuff.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people will talk about the fun stuff and the good service. So we did try and make it fun. There was always a chirp, always a laugh in the shop, and we went out of our way. I like to think, and we had awesome staff, and they learned the culture.
Yes.
Of somebody wanted something, we didn't have it. Sure. I had a manager who lived the other side of town, so his morning run up to the shop was making sure we collected anything that wasn't there, and we'd be able to phone and say, we've got it now, come in.
Wonderful.
So adding those kind of things.
And it's back to basics, really. It's just personable, and I know your current manager at Build It would definitely be a testament to that, because as a female shopping in Build It, she's phenomenal and she's so personable, and I can definitely see this generation has maybe taken a thing.
Well, her mom was amazing, and her mom works at the quarry.
Yes.
Her mom worked for me for many years, and Alicia worked for us, went away, came back, and she is awesome. I think definitely that culture's ingrained.
Definitely.
I like to think my son has it too.
Good. I haven't met him, but I'm sure it has.
But we do believe in trying to go beyond what people expect.
Brilliant. Awesome. Okay, so
that's important.
Finally, last question. Thank you, Graham. What you had to tell us is really interesting. If you had a magic ball, a glass ball, what do you think your forecast would be? And not necessarily just Hilton. I'm talking about the Midlands kind of strip here. So probably Howick, Hilton, Peter Maritzburg and beyond. What would your forecast be for this area over the next 5 years?
Sure. Well, there's no question it's going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a lot of space in Maritzburg for Maritzburg to grow. There's quite a bit of space. Howick, Midlands, people are looking for that move out of the hectic Maritzburg. Climate's great. You might not think so, but it's
today it is.
Yeah, today it is. It can be a misty, miserable place at times. But I just think, if you look at how education has grown, and I think that's, for me, is key to this Midlands. So that's certainly the reason we moved here, to be close to phenomenal schools. The government school Ladsworth it's just amazing. And Cowan House, the high schools, the just what's available around here is the prime reason for a young family wanting to live here. Probably gone off the topic a bit.
No,
but in terms of the of the next 5 years, I just see more and more people moving here, and there are developments that are still potentially coming up. I think Mountain Homes is one.
Yes.
Toscana was something that was shelved a long time ago, but I'm sure that'll come back on track near Cowan House. There's movement along the Hilton College Road.
Yes.
And there's something for everyone. You know, if you take the sort of entry-level units at Mountain View or Mountain
Homes, yeah. For first-time home buyers, it's the perfect opportunity.
There is, and you can get your kids in here, and they're sort of eligible for phenomenal schools. I think that, to me, just shows how we are going to grow. Certainly, the new outlook of the municipality and the controls, and I know they're still battling with a lot of the things that were being done wrong. They're still working on trying to correct a lot of that stuff, but just the attitude is phenomenal. You know, the engagement. Yeah. Where do you have a mayor who's on a WhatsApp group who talks to you? I mean, that's phenomenal.
And responds to emails.
Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely.
I mean, it's like unheard of.
Yeah.
We've tried to have engagements with other municipalities, and you just a brick wall. You know, it's everybody's protected, and nobody will take the buck.
Yes.
You know, whereas I think Chris buck stops here. You know, and
he's
he'll engage, not shy to tackle a problem, and yeah, we have to accept that the money has to be spent on everybody. We can't expect instant fixes. Chris, if you're listening or watching, potholes are a thing, you know.
Yes, potholes.
Yeah, potholes. But I think the difference probably is you've got our support. Now we've got to make sure you get everybody's support, because we don't want to lose this advantage that we have. I think that's the critical advantage.
Correct.
And yes, you've another 2.5 years or whatever to go. We need to make sure that this becomes the prime place to want to live, and a prime example of how things should be done.
Correct.
And I think probably for me that's the most exciting thing going forward.
Wonderful.
Certainly from an investment point of view.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you, Graham. Thank you for joining us. That was very informative, and we're really glad you could make it today.
You're welcome.
All the best.